Fires wide open at the 50-yard line is Kyle Pitts to the 35. 3rd and 7. Pressure coming from the left side. Throws complete and inside the 20-yard line.
Love to see him get his hands on the football here early.
2nd and 10. Pass is thrown over the middle. It's caught inside the 5 and all the way to the end zone. Drake London for the touchdown. 6 seconds, 7 plays, 70 yards, and 6 points.
Yeah, KJ Brett's an issue in coverage. Servassier Dennis is out of this game, the starting linebacker. Britt is very good against the run. He's a downhill thumper as a middle linebacker, but in coverage, they attacked on that opening drive.
They start with Rashad White in the backfield from the 37-yard line. Off play action, Mayfield steps up, fires, caught on the other side of the 50-yard line. Thank God.
No doubt.
3rd and 5. Mayfield fires over the middle into traffic, and that is hauled in. And Evans, forward progress will net him. Watching that game last week, he was everywhere, like every play.
Yeah, pick 6 too.
3rd and 9, caught and blocking out in front as he goes to the tight end. Yeah, Otten had the game-winning touchdown in the game here between the Bucs and the Falcons last year. Mayfield fires, that's caught inside the 5-yard line, and it's a 1st down and goal. Fake toss, comes back the other way, wide open, touchdown. So Evans comes back into the game and scores. Well, each team with a beautifully executed opening drive.
And the offensive coordinator and play caller taking a page out of an Andy Reid type of call here. Uses the eyes to affect with Bucky Irving and then comes back. Nobody picks him up. You can see Terrell, I think he's man-to-man. They're confused here because of that movement. Half of the defense playing. And the timing looks very good so far tonight.
Off the fake. Ton of time. Right on the money.
He is a handful for those safeties to come up and tackle.
Great block by McGarry to pave the way. Pass is going to be caught along the sideline. Getting free again is McLeod. Robinson resets in the backfield. 3rd and 5 under pressure for the first time, and down he goes. Sooner or later. And this one, he misses that one.
You know, let's be consistent. Man, he looked great last week, decisive, and tonight, throwing the ball, giving these receivers a chance.
Again, a good run. This time, breaking tackles.
Mayfield.
The back is White. Good pass catcher. And this time the pass is incomplete, a little behind Godwin. Atlanta gets an 11th guy back on the field in a hurry. And from 53, McLaughlin sends it right down the middle. He's always had that reputation and throws here. Pressure coming. Hangs in the pocket. Wide open. Caught. 3rd and 14. Over the middle and making the grab at the goal line. Mooney in there. Touchdown. Fired into traffic from 25 yards out on a 3rd and 14, and Atlanta retakes the lead.
McCollum to the inside to try to help take away the potential of any receiver that's going to work in there. So you got a corner working in there. By the time he turns around, because Cousins threw that on a line, he didn't have a chance to adjust to the ball. And heck, talking about adjustment, what a job by...
Keep an eye on his return, as this is a line drive kick that will be returned from the 4-yard line. Tucker works his way past the 30, still on his feet. There he goes, and finally tackled by the last man who can get him. Here's Mayfield throwing on the run, caught at the 40-yard line. Tight end Otten, and he's breaking tackles.
But it is something Liam Cohen wants to try to emphasize, and make teams have to respect.
Despite that, they've gotten to the playoffs. Wide open. Evans, touchdown. "23 yards. It is the 100th touchdown of his career on 99 receptions.
He's reading this safety, and the safety comes down. Now he's got a one-on-one opportunity. That is a mismatch against a backup nickel there. You take that all day.
Good protection. Open. Catches May. Off to the races. A gain of 19 for Kyle Pitts, the tight end. 2nd and 4. Fired and from the 42. In the pocket. Flares it out here. Algier. And you felt it right inside the left upright.
How in the heck does that happen?
Knew the playbook, well, inside out, or as enough as he needed to know it. Here's Bucky Irving. First down from the 29-yard line. Big hole. White still moving. White inside the 30 and taken down at around the 10-yard line by A.J. Terrell. Helmet to helmet from the 15. Toss here. Room. Nice move to the 5 goes Bucky Irving. Evans split left. Godwin to the right. Baker throws to the corner, and that's caught. Sterling Shepard comes up with it. So the two guys who connected in Oklahoma years ago, Shepard off the practice squad a couple of weeks ago, holds it in for the touchdown. Tampa Bay takes the lead again.
Watch as he moves out to the right. He knows exactly where he wants to go, back to that corner. But before he releases the ball, look at this coverage right here. I mean, that's pretty tight. And look where he puts the ball. I mean, that is an outstanding throw by Baker Mayfield. You see Shepard work inside, kind of hesitate, picks up, switch of coverage, and then gets away from Hamilton there with an outstanding throw. Again, that's a great look at it right there. I mean, he could not have handed that football any better to his college teammate.
Of the Atlanta Falcons. Watching his man Cousins go deep downfield, and it's going to be caught at the 50-yard line. And away they go. Fake throw, then the pass, open, caught, 30-yard line, spinning around and thrown out of bounds at the 28-yard line is Mooney.
Trying to go to those fast tempos, not to allow them to dig their cleats in and come after you.
2nd and 8. Pressure again, gets it away, caught. Look out. Got him by the shirt collar, and down he goes. Anthony Nelson will get that sack. They're trying to plant that back foot. 48-yard attempt by Koo is good. Well acquainted with each other through the years. Throws, caught, big gain here. Ball is out. Evans is there. Does he get it? Does he save the day? And he does. So that's a gain of 21. The ball into Falcon territory. On the move, throwing, caught to the 40-yard line.
Gets in his chance to be a defensive coordinator, and after that experience, really understands offenses that much better.
Mayfield escapes. He's going to run, and he's going to bang his way close to a first down. First-round pick, 26th overall. Over the middle, that's caught. Tight end. White flanking Mayfield. Protection breaks down. Sack at the 15-yard line. Onyemata, 32-yard field goal attempt. Easy pickings. And with 117, Pitts has caught 5 tonight on 6 targets. Looking straight over the middle. Wide open, making the catch at the 50-yard line. Waning seconds of the quarter. Big hole left side. Breaking the tackle inside the 30. Goes Bijan Robinson for his biggest run of the night. Don't let him make any substitutions. To the outside. The pass is caught. Breaking the tackle into the end zone. Darnell Mooney. Touchdown.
Having a veteran quarterback, you can go hurry up, take them out of that aggressive mindset. See Ray McCloud kind of sets a screen. Mooney gets in behind him, made it really tough on the defender to stay with him. A good shake to the inside, back to the outside, pulls away from Tyke Smith. Done a better job of getting him out of that rhythm.
Mayfield in the pocket, fires over the middle, caught. Going to be a first down from the 43-yard line. Mayfield stepping up. Going to run with it. Going to get a first down and several more. Third down and 9. Mayfield avoids the sack. Takes off, but is stopped. Again, makes it look so easy. Right down the middle.
Been masterful along with Kirk Cousins.
Trust me, Sean is watching and looking at film. The baby's now too old for him to do the 2 o'clock feeding. Pitts with 6 catches tonight. Has to get to the 30. Fired wide open and drop for Koo to tie it. Blocked. So he's missed one, had that one blocked. 2nd and 10. White. Decent gain here. Under 3 to play right now. Irving is the back. He has it. And the ball is out. And the Falcons say they have it, and so do the officials. Caden Ellis recovers it. There he is. London flanked outside. Going for it. Fired over the middle. Intercepted at the 35-yard line. Levante David. The heart and soul. Give it to him. Secures it this time. A flag is down.
Holding.
Nope.
Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's the center, Barton.
That last timeout.
Keep it on the ground. Make him use that timeout.
Yep.
London tops at 8. Mooney also has 8. Cousins fires over the middle. Open there. Up past the 40-yard line. That's Mooney. 411-yard night for Kirk Cousins. Hangs in the pocket. Fires. That's caught. Trying to get out of bounds and then loses the ball out of bounds.
Out.
Said they're going to go over the middle to the 28-yard line. That's Drake London. But he can salvage it here and send it to overtime. From 47. And
They got a flag that is calling a delay a game. They're calling a delay a game.
They are.
Delay game by the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Wow.
52 yards. And overtime. Third down. 3rd and 3. Fired. Caught. London to the 45-yard line. He goes. His giant night continues, and he's shaken up. Mooney moving. That's fired. That's caught. And that is Hodge. And Hodge is going to take it to the end zone. A most improbable win for the Atlanta Falcons. Go figure.
Blitz. They blitz and they play man coverage and watch the throw away from the corner right there. And then it's just a great athletic play. Good effort there by Ray McLeod to help out, but he puts this ball right where it needs to be. See McCollum working around him, but he couldn't get to it because of the location of the ball. But a heck of an effort by this guy with fresh legs to spin out of it and not think first down. He's thinking touchdown. And look at that look.